Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, free enterprise fans around the world. My name is Possum Morpheus, and I am honored to be here to cast this wonderful Moon Waning matchup between Dubward47 and drcossack, two very good friends of mine. Always happy to see them do battle. And speaking of friends, in the booth today with me, we have Tybalt. Tybalt, how you doing this evening, this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Possum. Always a pleasure to be in the booth with you.
Excellent. Well, I am also happy to be here with you, and I'm looking forward to some great boss hunting. And we have the archer extraordinaire and sometimes a white mage, Rosa.
Yeah, I'm fine with this start. We know we have a guaranteed white mage. I'm already happy. I don't care about the rest of the characters.
Yeah, in theory, Rosa, with more than 2,700 health, can just solo a seed by herself. So maybe we'll get some. No, let's be real. That's not going to happen tonight. Our runners are going to be looking for some helpful companions to go with that Rosa. Some Cecils, some Edges, maybe some Palums, and some other characters in there too. Could even see some Spoonwords. But looking at these bosses, we have quite the host of rudeness down here on our boss tracker. Golbez, the Gauntlet, Antlion, Ogopogo, D-Mist, Odin. It's almost as if Esgrunt has decided he really wants to roll Red Moon seeds.
It's about halfway there. Calbrina, Demas, and Octomom not being on the Red Moon list, but the other half definitely there. So looking like trying to make this a mixture of both seeds.
Yeah, I know for me, I'm hoping that our runners get a little bit of a challenge, maybe see an Ogopogo, a D-Mist, an Antlion on the moon. I mean, let's be real, Antlion's always on the moon, so we don't have to try hard for that one. But
Yeah, it's his vacation spot, or we find a way to make it to where, he's on his way to his vacation home.
like on the Giant at 65K?
Yeah, right there, on the way to Mysidia from Fabul, or trying to find a different way to get to the moon.
Yeah, there are many ways, and as long as it doesn't involve talking to some strange version of Edge hanging out in Fabul, I think that's A-okay. But we do have, behind the scenes, we have Escrunt, of course, our restreamer. We have Commander Leonhardt pushing the buttons and guarding them from yours truly. But this is a fantastic little matchup we have here. Two runners looking to continue their run in this tournament, the Blue Moon side of things. And both of them have done a wonderful job navigating this waning bracket so far. Dr. Cossack basically able to get through Starman and Stoppable Force, and Dubward able to get through Saradin on his way through the waiting bracket. And looks like we are underway, so excited to see what we have here.
Yeah, ooh, well, we've got the pseudo power couple. Kane. He can be good, right? Oh,
Sure.
starting Hook.
Yeah, Hook, Kainatsu, Rosa, and a Kane. There are worse stars.
Yeah, I mean, Kane is quite versatile in the weapons that he can utilize. Really, the only thing he can't is bows and arrows, but I think if you find a decent spear for him, he can definitely, get the early game going for you.
Yeah, and also worth noting that on the Blue Moon flag set, the back row glitch is on. So Dwarfax does get you the ability to have a back row cane. And that can really be nice. If you don't see a Cecil or an Edge show up, he could end up being your primary DPS from a melee perspective. There is a Sid, which that's a character that exists that can bop things, and a Yang, that is another character that exists that can bop things. But neither of them are Cecil or Edge, the two kind of stars of the show on this flag set.
Yeah, I mean, Sid's good. You just need gear for him, and Young is not too bad himself, but need levels.
Yeah,
It's
Yang
not a
will be
problem run into this.
Yang will be great in 50 levels.
Hey, we slingshot mages. Why not slingshot Young? He's a punch mage, right?
That's true. And we see Dubward heading on in to Eblin Castle, one of the favorite spots of the tournament for Blue Moon. The T Wildish loot setting. just means that you can pull some absolutely ridiculous loot out of Evelyn Castle, both trapped and untrapped. You could, in theory, even find things like an Avenger sword just laying around in Evelyn Castle. That's how good the loot tiering is here. You do have to watch out, though, because there are some pretty spooky trap chests in here. Speaking of things that are not spooky, though, old men hanging out in a watery pass.
Yeah, vanilla old man. So we assume we have an exit caster before we even have to do Zod or ant lines so we're able to get out of there faster. Even if we have to go to the moon before we get our Earth crystal, we have easy ways of getting out there. We won't have to walk or warp.
And you did mention slingshots earlier for mages. Yang is a punch mage, and that Tella could do a number. Dr. Cossack not leaving Watery Pass right away. I wonder if he's going to just go through and loot some more here. Doesn't look like it. Dubward did find Artemis arrows just laying in a chest. Those are tier 7 arrows, actually, so that is a huge find, and a power shirt for Dr. Cossack, which can go on either that Sid or that Kane. But that's a phenomenal item to pick up this early on.
Yeah, we did find a flame spear on Dr. Cossack's side in the waterfall hidden area for that Kane, so got something useful for the Kane. Not too great, but decently something. Use it as an item to cast, Fire 2, get you through an early gauntlet.
I love the Zeus Rage and Stardust pickup on Dr. Cossack's side too. Watery Pass really paying out quite a bit here. Some quite good items popping out of that Watery Pass. Power Shirt, that Flame Spear, a couple J items, a lot of really good stuff. Ooh, so Artemis Bow, Artemis Arrow laying around in Eblin. That potentially puts Rosa, or to me, that puts Sid online. Already Sid this early is absolutely ridiculous. And there's a Rydia in Damsian.
Yeah. I mean, starts with the best weapon she possibly can, do a little Dancing Dagger.
Yeah, Dancing Dagger, definitely good. And on Dubward's side, looks like we're going to be continuing this loot of Eblin.
Yeah, we found all the traps, so we're just finishing up the loot.
Yeah, definitely don't blame him for that.
Yeah, I wonder if Dubward actually goes to Water Pass, maybe does at least, check the character, and if he at least loots the first 3 chests there, he'll find that Power Shirt as well. And Power Shirt already Sid. Sid's got that extra crit rate.
Oh yeah. Oh, Power Shirt already Sid is endgame. Make no mistake about it. That is an absolute force to be reckoned with.
Just a crystal helm from Bedward, so just money at this point.
I would argue just bad. A crystal hat is not what you want to see.
No, it's
whatsoever. But at least both runners are going to be getting that useless crystal hat. We say useless. We don't know. Maybe there's going to be a Cecil that shows up. But right now, we are sitting at Rosa, Sid, Yang, Kane, Tella, and Rydia. There's only one character left. It can't be Fu, but there's not a lot of great options as far as your typical Blue Moon teams would go. This is not going to be your normal, Cecil Edge go Burst Seed from the looks of it. This Golbez, though, is going to get Bird, I think, pretty good here. Looks like we have a number of different characters up, going down, and then coming back up on Dr. Cossack's side. But we do have Golbez here, which is a required boss.
Yeah, and Dubward's going to be a little happy to see that he does have a ribbon that he found there in Evelyn. Also, just found an Ogre Axe here in the public treasury.
And a second Protect Ring.
Okay, I'm not used to seeing such good loot. I'm used to blue. I'm used to Red Moon.
Yeah, it's
coming from.
Well, it's coming from this thing called T Wildish, and sometimes on T Wildish you get really bad loot, and it really puts the ish in Wildish. But in this case, I would argue this is pretty darned good loot. We have a back row Sid. We have Rosa with that Artie Bow, Artie Arrow. Now, one thing I might like to see though is that Artie going on Sid. That is such a potent combination. Also, having Rosa in the middle slot, not necessarily the best, because you end up in a situation where if you try to aim, you're actually going to be having reduced accuracy with Rosa aiming from the middle. So would like to see that Rosa be in a different slot, but here we are. And Dr. Cossack has the most valuable member of his team alive for this Golbez fight. Clearly, the Tella needs the XP. And, well, there we go.
Numbers are only at 4 characters, only 2 are going to go down. And, almost anybody that stays up will have no problem taking on this Golbez here. Dr. Cossack through the Golbez. See where he goes next. In this flag set, where do you tend to gravitate towards?
Well, without having that Edge Cecil combo, I would be looking to do a little bit heavier looting and then probably just do normal overworld progression checks. Things like Miss Cave, Antlion, Hobbs, Fabul, those types of checks. And that's what we're getting out of Dr. Cossack anyway here. On Dubward's side, you could get a little splashy with things. You don't necessarily need anybody else on this team. You're basically already sitting there with 4 party members who can take you to the end game. So you don't even need to necessarily pick up an anchor yet, but I have a feeling that Dubward's going to be showing us some of those characters that Doc already found.
Young taking the Paris there.
Uh-oh.
Trying to run buffer it. Will he get the Star Veil off? It gets it off.
Whew. Yeah, so fun fact about Miss Cave. There's actual magic defense and a magic stat there, and it's scary. It's
one of those things that sneaks up on you.
Yeah, because in the vanilla game, it's like, just hit the dragon. But not when it's in its mist form. Oh, well, there's that gauntlet you talked about.
Yeah, very early gauntlet. Are we going to have very front heavy siege with all these bosses, or are we going to have a jet here?
Perhaps what I would say is I love the flame spear on the cane for this fight. You just go ahead and kind of use that as an item and sweep these fights. It might be slightly more effective than just punching, but you can always just hold A.
Yeah, right now Dr. Cossack did find a white spear in Antlion on his way down, so using that as item is only a single target, but it's still really good for the early game single target casting, white as it may be with Kane.
Yeah, we see some indecision on Dubward's side doing the little dance of do I want you, do I not, and decides that he does want that Tella. Now, did pass up those couple of chests early on. We'll see if he loots them on the way out. Picks up that ninja shirt, that dragoon hat, but that power shirt is the big one, and we are going to get that pickup of the power shirt for Dubward, which he is going to be pleased to see, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. And I wonder if it's either power shirt's either going to go on Rose or Kane. If you find a Heron Robe, I don't even think that you keep the bow and arrow on Rosa. Like, Heroin Robe? Good. Yeah,
Heroin Robe already would be probably still better than on Sid, with the power shirt. But it would be close. They're both phenomenal. And Dubward picking up his Rydia while Dr. Cossack picking up a Dragoon armor. So that brings our total to a Crystal Hat, a Dragoon armor, and a hook, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no key items, just the one we got at the start. Where'd they all go? That's what I'm thinking. Like, where's the key items? Like, I get underground, and that's about it.
Yeah, this is where I'd say something like, they're all locked behind the Sun Coin and Focus Tower, but that's completely the wrong game.
Yeah, definitely the wrong game there. And ooh, well, that's an Odin there. We see Doc just about to leave.
That's 3 for 3, I believe, for Dr. Cossack. He has seen 3 bosses, and all 3 are required, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. The only boss we have seen that is not required is that Kainazo at the Baigen spot. So, And the one thing will Dubward here? Okay. I was wondering if Dubward's gonna fade Antlion, but it looks like it's deciding not to. He's
Yeah,
gonna be happy when he sees a gauntlet.
I think Dubward is in a bit of a weird position here because he has so much power. He doesn't want to do these early game checks because they're slow for the amount of power he has. Having Artie, having a White Spear Cane, Ogre Axe, Power Shirt Sid, whatever the combination is, like, you want to be doing mid-game checks with this level of power. And he is, having to do these slower early game checks, especially in this case, he doesn't know it yet. But there's a gauntlet here, so it's like I want to do my my dwarf castle, but I have to get underground for that. There's a Asura not required, so the streak is broken.
Yeah, I don't know if Dr. Cossack has a mutant knife. I know I have seen a mutant knife on Dubward's side, so it's going to be really nice to damage that Azure.
Yeah, I think Doc is just trying to burn Asura down before she does another Cure 3 or Cure 4. Looks like we are going to get... Oh, no life lock there. Cure 3 going to do a decent amount of damage. We're going to jump with Kane. But I think we're about to get a big Cure 4 here.
Meanwhile,
Tella not helping.
No, Boston, did you see what Dubward did? He did a recall stone, and it hit.
I mean, that's cool. I don't talk about stone. That's not a spell that exists to me. I refuse to acknowledge that, but I'm happy for Dubward.
And we get, the Twin Harp.
Speaking of things I refuse to acknowledge the existence of.
More! I mean, me personally, I would probably check this Twin Harp. Just doing as, at least for me, doing as much as I can before I get underground is what I would like to do. Because if you find that darkness at like the Feymarch freebie, you're going to want to get your levels and then do the odds check of going to Moon, you got 7 bosses up there. So depending on what you find on the underground,
Not even that. You don't want to leave any stone unturned when you have a Tella on the Overworld. If the darkness is hiding behind the Twin Harp and one runner gets it and the other doesn't, that is just grotesque for the runner who doesn't get it. The impact of that darkness crystal to be able to slingshot, like let's say maybe a Rydia Porum or a Rosa Porum, or a Yang and a Porum, whatever the slingshots would be, it can't be understated how important that is. But this is not your typical Blue Moon seed. We have no Cecil, no Edge, and of course no starting Fusoya. So the unholy trinity of power characters not going to be showing up in this seed whatsoever. So our runners are going to have to make do with a little bit less in the way of typical power than they may have been used to on these seeds to this point. So going to have to get a little more creative, rely on some more skill and execution rather than how to leverage power overwhelming.
Even though I think with the year that we've at least found a decent start to a power overwhelming with this particular party.
I think that can be said for Dubward. I don't think I would put Dr. Cossack in that same vein yet. Of note, Dr. Cossack is a couple of checks ahead right now, but I don't think that as far as the loot for Doc is concerned, that he is going to be able to keep pace without a little bit more, because right now he's relying basically on Power Shirt, White Spear, Cane, which is great early on, but really falls off by the time you get underground. So if we find that Artie on Doc's side to give to Sid or even Rosa, that will definitely help. The question is, though, can Dubward make up the time? And I would assume the answer to that would be yes, given how long this seed is likely to run, because of that loot advantage. Picking up a third protector and an extra headband, there's lots of good loot floating around.
So I mean, I think Doc will probably end up hitting Evelyn just before going down that hook out. It's pretty common in most cases that you go to Evelyn just before going down to that hook out to kind of shore up your levels before you try and take on those 2 hook bosses. So I think from Doc's point, he may find those, because you're going to want to get those extra levels. Plus, those 3 chap chests could give you even better loot. They could give you your Dragoon Spear, an Avenger, maybe even a Power Shirt, but also levels. And that's something this party desperately needs.
Yeah, those levels would definitely come in handy. What would also come in handy is some healing on Dr. Cossack's side, because we have found Ogopogo, which is required. That is 4 bosses already, but this is back attack Ogopogo, which means you get 2 big waves, and you get some physical punches before you can really even do anything. Kind of a grody spot for Ogopogo, when we are relying primarily on a White Spear Cane, which is best used as an item, which would then counter with weak. So, not great.
No, not at all. I mean, and even then, like, the white doesn't do that much. I think, like, a jump, which takes a little bit longer, would probably do more damage than using it as an item.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Thankfully, though, Tella coming stocked with Cure 2 definitely helps here. Even if it's only 50 or so curing, that's, the better part of a big wave. And then, yeah, we see that jump coming out. I think Dr. Cossack will be through this without too much of an issue here.
Yeah, I think
there
goes. Yeah, Dubward, you're going to see the Asura. I did see mute arrows in his inventory, so this Asura should go down fairly quickly for that party bow user.
Yeah, also worth noting, the Porum that is up on Ordeals has mute arrows. Doc did not take them, I don't believe. We'll see if Dubward does take those mute arrows. I'm always a fan of grabbing those mute arrows and just kind of, using them to whatever effect you can. This is also an issue that we kind of talked about before. We got an aim command from Rosa here in the center slot, and that is not going to do full damage there, but that jump comes out quick enough and Dubward able to get through in 2 hits, and I think it was 3 or 4 that it took on Dr. Cossack's side. So a little bit quicker there, but Doc is up the entirety of Ordeals right now and sees Karate Man hanging out in the changing room today. Kane dealing 990 damage of the 1,000 that boss has. Hashtag bosses with 20 HP or less.
I mean, Rosa, that was a base level Rosa with the aim, so I don't know if the aim actually hindered him too much.
With an arty bow, it probably did. But that's neither here nor there. Dr. Cossack has learned the Medio on Tella. He also got a pass, which is probably the more important thing. But he got Medio on Tella, and we love rocks.
Oh, now we just need to find the Soma drop, and we can cast all the rocks.
So many rocks.
Yes.
And our runners will be greeting each other on the way up and down Ordeals here.
Yeah, about to be a little high five as they pass. And there goes the high five.
In the doorway, nonetheless. That's fantastic.
Right? Did they talk before this and like plan that out?
Oh, that's interesting on Dubward's side. Saying yes to Porum and getting rid of Sid. That's not what I would have expected here. Love to see it. I would have expected, if anything, Yang to go away on Dubward's side there.
Dubward also did keep the Rhea, so I wonder if Dubward may be planning for a D-Machine grind to get white nuke for an endgame. Do you see another boss here, Baron in Antline, having a drink before his flight.
Yeah, that was Antline. But that's already 5 bosses down in 21 minutes for Dr. Cossack. Yeah, we have a pass. We have 5 bosses done. We have a hook route and a twin harp. There is potential like hour-long seed or less on this one, given how it's going. Like, if this gives you a darkness crystal, you may never see the underground. There's a lot happening here, and it's all very scary for our runners. This is quite quick.
Yeah, it's like I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, we got Twin Harp on Dust. We have that mystical wreck banner and Zot 1 gain all those checks before we hit that underground, because you never know. We're just based on Dockside, we're down to just finding 3 bosses.
Two
Two of 3
bosses.
bosses. Yeah, 2 of 3. Like, okay. Where are they? And they could be completely hidden by like Luca Key or Package. Places that most people don't like going.
Yeah, we'll see where our runners decide to go. Worth noting, Dr. Cossack is making very quick work of all these checks, though. We'll see if he does the Twin Harp. I do wonder about this. He may just go underground and play the odds here. It is worth noting, Twin Harp only 1 boss. The underground has a lot more, including the hook and everything underground. You have 2 at Dwarf, 1 at Keyless Tower, 2 at Feymarch, plus the 2 on the hook. That's what, 7 bosses total versus 1 for the Twin Harp. But Doc says, I would like to check this Twin Harp, maybe even do Zot 1 while I'm here, and is going to commit to this, leaving no stone unturned before going underground.
Yeah, I'm here for this way. I like this little bit of a gamble to check this, because you never know what you're going to get for a key item. You could get the Earth Crystal. You could get the Luca Key, the Tower Key, something for that underground. Or like you said, the darkness could be here, and an early darkness for this party would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I would, just based on odds and pure statistics and math and all those things, not apologizing, by the way, for math on stream if it happens. But Darkness Crystal likely represents Go Mode for our runners. Because they have underground access, they have Darkness Crystal. That opens up, 15 total checks, and they only need 2 of those 15 to hit. You have roughly a 1 in 4 chance of any given spot being a boss. So it's a pretty high chance that you're already looking at Darkness Go Mode. So I think this play makes a lot of sense from Dr. Cossack, whether thinking about the stats and the numbers on the fly or not. If you pass up the chance of the Darkness Crystal here, you could be in a world of hurt for 2 reasons. One is you don't have access to those bosses, and 2, you don't have access to the D-Machine grind that Kelly would provide to you.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a play, Dr. Cossack's trying to counteract what Dubward may do. It's something that some people do. It's like, okay, well, I've seen my opponent run a bunch of times. I know they like to do in this check. Well, for me to keep up with them, I need to do this as well to have what they have.
It's absolutely a possibility, and something that is worth asking. Half an hour from now, whenever the interview is, to find out from Doc. But in the meantime, I think this is the part where we're supposed to be quiet and hope for some Mystic Quest music.
Oh, definitely. Love me some Mystic Quest. That Whitebeard doing work for Dr. Cossack with those D-Lunars being there. And we get just another power shirt. Well, I mean, great for this party, right?
Yeah, I think the couple levels and the power shirt, that would have been enough for me to keep that as well. Um, the D Lunars at the Twin Harp, not a fun boss to find. It was very well handled by Doc. Queuing up the Fire 3, you end up dealing almost lethal damage to one of the dragons. Between a jump command and a punch from Yang, I think the other dragon went down. The White Spear actually doesn't do any bonus damage to the D-Lunars. It's kind of interesting. It's just Kane is completely stacked with gear right now, so he's able to get through that pretty quickly. Dubward saying no to the Twin Harp, though, and looks like he is going to head underground. So Dubward technically ahead right now after fading that Twin Harp, and does have the arty combination that Doc does not.
Yeah, Doc there checking an armor shop, wondering if looking for that infamous cursed ring.
100%, yeah, has to be.
I mean, still has that option for the perfect anchor out there as a form. Looking here in the Eblin shop, we've got Bacchus and Hourglass tubes.
Yeah, those are both really good items. I would be probably looking to buy somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 Bacchus. Well, actually, no, because Dubward is going mages, so the Bacchus are not going to do a ton. So maybe 5 or 6 hourglasses, and maybe the same for Bacchus. You don't really need that many here. Still opts for 10 though, which is fairly appropriate. You do have Kane at least, who does love him some wine.
Rose, that also helps out too, so we don't have to worry about running out of those Artie arrows.
True. Well, Rosa does have Zerk though, which is nice.
Yeah, that is true too. That requires a little more effort to go down to the spell. You gotta make sure you have enough FP. I mean, you can just drink some wine.
It is worth noting here on Dubward's side, he may simply be making the play of, I'm hoping sirens are available. I will buy 30 of them, and I will let Rosa use one arrow 30 times and get Nuke and White on my party. That could very well be Dubward's plan here. He does know, also, by the way, when you buy a Lilith Rod and then find a Stardust Rod in a box, you feel really bad. But he does know that his opponent, Dr. Cossack, is not a big grinder. Will do things at lower levels and will usually be able to get through them, albeit a little more slowly because of not having those levels. So Dubward may be looking for forced divergence here. And we do have a Ruby sprite on the hook route. That is either going to be Ruby or Elements. We do not know which. I'm just trying to think which would be better or worse for this team. I think Elements would be better. Well, actually, we have a Blizzard Spear, though, don't we?
Yeah, we have a Blizzard Spear. Like, I'm thinking Ruby would be better.
Yeah. Yeah, with a Blizzard Spear, I think Ruby would definitely be better. We do see Doc going and making the play you talked about earlier of will he go through and do Eblin Castle, and it looks like the answer is yes. So Doc going to put this time in, do these trap chests. And it looks like Dubward going to be searching out the Mad Ogres. So I think Dubward's making an XP play here. Doc is making a loot play. He's going to get that Artie combination, which is going to be really nice. Probably hoping for an Avenger, maybe a Dragoon Spear, something else, a Bahamut, maybe even for Rydia to help out the team.
Well, I think Doc's making the loot and experience play here. Did buy a couple hourglasses before coming in here. And I know some runners like to check that Evelyn shop for hourglasses, coffee, something to make these fights a little more safer, considering her HP totals, as Sid's already down past half health from a couple hits.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of that. It just makes him really safe. Because, like, these fights without that punch from Yang, for example, you would have gotten a cat blustering, and the cat's blustering, not a good time. So definitely heads up use of the hourglasses, and Dog purchased 10 of them for what it's worth. So this is a play preparing for trap chests and anything else he might run into. Just really investing in those hourglasses, which are an incredible J item.
Yeah, because we got the 3 trap chests here. We've already seen a Kaipo guards the option soldier fight at the waterfall. So the only other 2 fights that we could really use hourglass force for bosses would be the Baron guards and the Dims. You can technically use it on Calbrina, but it only does the back 2. And well, there's a crystal sword.
That is what? Well, 8.9 sirens? I forget the number.
Something like that, because it sells for max. It sells for 63.5.
Oh, well, that's more than. There's a white spear for Dubward, so just in case you didn't pick up the white spear in Antlion Cave for free, you have a white spear at the Mad Ogre chest. Not what our runners are looking for, but did get the XP there, which is the important thing on Dubward's side.
15 sirens worth.
15.
Yeah, almost just shy of 16 sirens.
Well, find one more and you can do 30 in a dream.
Yeah. You ever find the Mad Ogres? It's so sad when you don't have Edge to be able to steal the buckets from these. It feels bad. But what's going to be here at the King-Queen spot? Could be something mean, could be something evil.
Could be something you're using that hourglass on.
Yeah.
Step 1, hourglass. Step 2, literally anything else.
Yeah, well, I think in Dubward side it's going to be step 1, hourglass, step 2, stone.
Fair enough. You could definitely go for the stone cast. Again, that's not a spell that exists to me, but the hourglass 100% is to be used here.
I mean, ultimately, you also could do size or toad to increase the physical damage that we do to them.
Yeah, size, toad, weak, any of those will certainly take care of that.
Until he gets a stone hit.
Yeah, of course he does.
Slot.
I'm not bitter. Nope, not me.
We have Doc taking on the Staleman skeleton chest. Bit of a dicey fight here.
Yeah, but if you're not dead, you're alive, and that is Dr. Cossack's current state, not dead, and that's all you have to be.
Ooh, elements into the fight here.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see some reflected fire 3s, or if we're just gonna try to burn elements down. We do not have the health totals, for what it's worth, to really go long term here. So I'm a little concerned with phase 2 of this fight, especially with Kane being in the back row. This is very scary. I just don't know where our damage is coming from. And with Rosa being down, if this tips into the second phase, we're in a lot of danger.
I think, Dubward does have 3 protect rings. 2 of which are probably on the back row character trait. One on Viridian, one on Kane. As we're only taking 1 damage from that Mylon fight. Gets a bit dicey when we get into the Ruby section.
Yeah, what I would like to see here is... Well, first of all, Artemis arrows, not Medusa arrows on Rosa. Second of all, I'd love to see Tella in the back row with one of those protect rings on, and maybe Kane sitting in there with a protect ring on, and then just reflect fire 3s. Because now is when the fun begins here. We're about to get... I think we have a Blizzard Spear we're jumping with, which is fine. We might be able... Ice Brand. Okay, we might be able to just get through this by burning, burning elements down with ice. I know that's awkward, but it depends how much this rolls for. Fire 2 not going to be too bad with the Protect Rings. Fire 3 won't be too bad. I'm still worried that the the glare could do enough, but looks like that blizzard, or excuse me, that ice brand hit did roll high enough, and the scary phase is gone. So Dubward should be through this.
Yeah, that glare can always sneak up on you, especially in the elements fight, 'cause it's party wide. If it's just Ruby, it's only a single target, but party wide damage, not so fun.
Yeah, party-wide glare is really spooky.
And it looks like Dubward's after your own heart there, with that form being our anchor.
Well, I mean, Porum makes sense as an anchor because she has 7 agility. It's a very low agility number. If you plan on using Rydia and you plan on using Tella, which kind of looks like the plan for Dubward, who is through this elements fight and going to be underground about the 38.5-minute mark. If your plan is to use Tella and Rydia, then Porum makes a great anchor for them. Tella eventually will be relative agility 1 to a Porum, believe it or not.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit. He does get quite spry when he gets more levels.
Yeah, now what I would recommend though is if the plan here is 30 Sirens in a Dream, of course, that you just knock Tella off and bring that Porum back and then go, nuke white. That would certainly be a way to do a fight. And there's an Octomam. That is 6 out of 7 for our runners. One more boss to go mode. We have a pass. So Escrunt clearly has something to do tonight that doesn't involve free enterprise.
Yeah, so I wonder how our runners are going to exactly route this. We got 2 bosses down there in the Feymarch we can peek. We've got 1 boss we can peek at Dwarf Castle. We also have that Pan. For me, it's like I would go turn in Pan and probably go to the Feymarch. Get all the damage tiles done and out of the way.
Yeah, I agree with that because it also gives you eyes on either Calbrena or D-Mist. There is a secondary argument that you just shotgun the top of tower, and I think that's the play that Dubward's going to make. There is actually a tertiary option here where you could go shopping for Leviathan in anticipation of either a D-Mist or a Calbrena showing up. Leviathan really, really helps out there on Dubward's side. Obviously not as much on drcossack's side because, well, we don't have Rydia there.
Looks like Doc's going for the stone with the center slot. Tell it.
I'm sorry, going for the what?
Going for the spell we don't talk about.
The S is for stone. That's why I always get it wrong.
And it looks like Doc has about your luck and whiffs it.
Yep. Yeah. Talk to me when he whiffs it 9 more times in a row. Anyway, we have Dubward preparing to go to battle with some calamari that got severely lost on its way up a tower. This is going to be a bit awkward. We're not healed on Rosa going into this fight. This is punchier and faster than people realize, and the White Spear also isn't going to do much here. I wonder if Rosa is going to be put to archer duty here.
Yeah, because that Octom resists, the White Spear and all those fun weapons, because it's weak to dark weaponry, so it's strong against everything else.
Weak to exactly the black and shadow swords. Black and darkness swords, and I believe that's it. I don't even know if it's weak to shadow sword. I honestly don't know if shadow sword has the element or not. Rydia, though, takes 1 hit from the tentacle and is down. We do have a Zerk on that cane, but that cane is taking more damage than you might expect. Again, the spot is punchier than people give it credit for, and also hits harder and has more HP and more agility. Kind of a scary fight here, and what, 20,000 HP here?
Something like that, because it's normally 3 different phases you have to go through here, at least in vanilla with Dr. Blue Guy. But as soon as we can get at least 3 hits in, and then 2 more after that, this fight's going to slow down real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have on dock side, we get the tip over to the Ruby side, and the Ice 3 is already queued on Tella. This is really well planned out, I think, on dock side. Definitely like his approach to this Elements fight. I might even be able to skip the second phase of this if this Ice 3 rolls high enough. 7K doesn't quite get it. That must have been extremely close to not skip that back phase. Holy cow.
That is a feels bad. It's just so close.
That was so much damage output through the first phase there. I am shocked that that 7K did not finish that off.
And we're down to just 2 tentacles on Octomom. Doesn't really mean that he's down to lower health. It just means he's super slow. We get more turns. And we're happy about that.
Yeah, more turns is good. Less punches for the octopus, less dead Rydias.
I mean, we did end up casting a blink on Lydia, so she's got some extra copies out there.
It's just what we need. Multiple Rydias.
Yeah. I mean, multiple Rydias with self. I mean, hey, at least you're healing up the party.
Sure. Also, Tella on dock side just did a 6200 lit 3 that also didn't wipe out the Val form of Elements. I feel like Doc must have been a couple hundred damage off on both of those phases. That is wild to me. And we get an Earth Crystal from Dubward. That now leaves us with but a few places remaining where boss number 7 could be that we don't have access to.
Yeah.
Might not even need the Darkness Crystal for this one, because now we have both Zot spots. We have both Dwarf Castle, both Feymarch. That's 6 bosses on the table. 7 if you include the Twin Heart for Dubwood, which we know doesn't have value. Plus whatever else we get from the Pan turn-ins, the Warp Glitch, etc. There's a very decent chance that the moon could be haunted for this one, or that we never even see it.
Yeah, I was saying, you know, if we're thinking there's only 4 other key items that can really gate bosses.
Yeah, Package, Luca, Baron, Tower. Not, withstanding with the Darkness Crystal being the big one, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, that leaves us with 4 key items remaining.
You know, and each one of them is just either one boss. I mean, Baron does have 2 darkness, has the 2 on the giant, and then the was it 6 or 7 on the moon?
Yeah.
Over here going straight to Tower, and meanwhile Doc going straight over to Dwarf. Gonna be checking the shops here. Let's see. Just elixirs.
I mean, elixirs could come in handy if you plan on doing a D machine ultimately, but probably not super necessary. Dubward says no to coffins, likely figuring what you had thought before, that there's not a ton left that coffins help with. And Dubward saying no to Mom Bomb. That's interesting. I wonder if he's going to do Zot to get the boss information and then not even potentially bother with Dwarf Castle.
Here comes the problem with that. On Blue Moon here, we actually have more glitches turned on. We have the Warp Glitch, so we have access to the Luca key item. So Dwarf has 2 key items possibly with it. The one from Dwarf and then the one from Luca. It's a hard pass up when you've got a density of possible key items like that.
Well, it's difficult, but it's also, maybe one of those things where Dubward says, on average, I'm not as fast as Dr. Cossack. Maybe thinking Doc has been around the tournament scene for literally years now, and for Enterprise, a very established, very good runner. And Dubward may be saying, I need to do something different. And this might be his first divergence.
Yeah, I mean, it's saving that, like you said, doing the Earth Crystal, and if there's a required boss there, going, okay, hey, I know Mom Bomb's leads the first fight, I can prep for that, because that first boss fight can be a bit tricky. And another power shirt. So we've got power and protect in this seed.
Yeah, worth noting, Dubward does not have the party for all those power shirts, though.
No.
So not super useful for him. I wonder if we get a Leviathan purchase here. No, that is surprising to me. I would have expected that Leviathan to be purchased for that Rydia on Dubward's side.
Yeah, I mean, Leviathan for Rydia is so good. Doc,
Well, well, well. Speaking of things Leviathan is good against, and also Go mode.
oh, yeah. So what are
And
grind
yeah,
options? Yeah, it's eggs.
yeah. We need to find sirens and find them. Wait, no, we can't find sirens. They're
No,
not in Dwarf. They're not in
th-
Tomra. They're not in Feymarch, and we don't have the Darkness Crystal.
this gets
Interesting.
this gets very very interesting. Like, there's a grind option of doing self trap chests.
Well, to me, this seed, and this is something that I don't know if either runner knows this, but I would be gathering up everybody with high HP, which would be, Sid, Yang, Kane. Well, basically Dr. Cossack's party already.
Yep,
And I'd be doing 1200 strats here,
I was
where you
thinking
just
the exact
buy
same thing.
you buy a buttload of Cure 3s, Star Veils, some vampires, but you gotta know your 1200 strats in order to do that. And if you don't have that skill set, then,
I
well, you just don't.
I
I don't know
don't
if either
know.
runner does.
I don't know if you found Cure 3s for sale. I know Starveils are in Mysidia. I don't know about the Cure 3s.
Fair enough.
That's where that kind of strat kind of hinders, is that you really want the Cure 3s. I mean, there's still quite a few shops out there we haven't checked, like Agert, Silvera. Two shops that a lot of runners don't go to check because they're just out of the way and take a while to get to. Doc, you're going to check the pan.
I mean, Doc may also be saying, I'm not super comfortable with the situation at hand as far as doing 1200. I know Doc has literally said to me before, Dr. Cossack being my 2v2 partner, Dr. Cossack has said to me that he refuses to learn Edward strats because of how limited the usage is in most situations. And I can't say I disagree with it. 1200 strats, on the other hand, definitely something that you would want to keep in your pocket for these seeds. I do have a concern now for Dubward, though. Did we save before doing this? And if so, do we want to reset? Because yes, we defeated Calbrena, but we just broke Pora. And there's the reset from Dubward. Yeah, I was wondering if this was going to happen, where he did not get that Porum killed before getting the Leviathan off. So I'm going to be redoing this fight and keeping that Porum at 7 agility.
Yeah, Doc, you're making some extra key item checks. Gets a crystal sword from bonking on with the pan. I wonder if Dog may be trying to get as many key items as possible. We do have that 10 key item boost, but we're only at 3 key items on his side, so trying to get up to 10, it's doable, but only if the right things come into play. Like, you're gonna have to find the rat tail. You're gonna have to find like the tower keeping the rat tail.
How about the darkness crystal from Sheila 2?
Yeah, well, okay. That works.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the game plan for both runners. I think on Doc's side, you're pretty likely to just see a D-Machine grind right now, or a hunt for sirens.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. You go to the item shop on the moon, see if, the sirens are there. If not, then you can do your D-Machine grind. Because you have already Rosa. You can just burn through those eggs really quickly. A white spear, or white shirt.
White shirt's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Especially on Dubward's side, where if he does plan on doing some sort of reflect strats, that's going to be fantastic. We see Doc, he is running around looking for different things. I wonder if he is
They're so
hunting
close.
for 1200 stuff, or if he is hunting for just money. Selling a cat claw with a Yang in the party, that's interesting to me. I wonder if we already have extra cat claws?
Possibly. I want to say maybe he bought an extra one. It's like I know he bought some in the weapon shop in Feymarch. So I don't know. Yeah, this might be a shopping expedition for like Ether 2s or Ethers. Would be my guess.
Well, there were also Cure 3s in Fabul.
Hmm.
So we at least know Star Veils and Cure 3s are available, even if you don't have the vampires to push extra. But worth noting on Dubward's side, Crystal is already in hand.
Yeah. And then this is an interesting play from Dubward. Like, he's got the Earth Crystal, trying to find darkness, going to raid the treasury.
Maybe a money play. I'm not 100% certain. Maybe looking for a little bit more direction. Yeah, not 100% certain.
Raid that treasury!
Okay, well, we found a White Spear and Adventure. That's good for Kane. Hanzo Steel, useless. Another Artie Bow. This is almost like Zerkers out of 10.
It's basically Kane out of 10. But we kind of already have all the Kane stuff.
Yeah. But we did find a defense sword, so I mean, it's a a toss up for an upgrade. Like, there's always that big argument, what's better for Kane? White Spear defense sword.
I think it's the White Spear at like level 58 or 68 or something.
Yeah, it's when you're the accuracy you get from your levels outweighs the low accuracy on the spears.
Yeah,
because spears have just terrible accuracy.
Well, that's interesting. So Dubward just purchased 30 Echo Notes.
Yeah.
That tells me he is at least conscious of what you need to pull off 1200.
Yep, and here comes the selling of just about everything you possibly can, all the high everything. He's gonna be looking for those Star Veils and those Cure 3s. I have a feeling at 1200 strands, or even something of, you have Kane start off with like the defense sword, you swap into Avenger, you don't bother healing him up there, and you just let him work, get some extra damage in there that way, and then trying to finish it off with a 1200 strat.
Yeah, we do, however, Dr. Cossack just showed us, have Moon Sirens, which, if you're not exactly 100% confident on the 1200 strat thing, just do your Sirens and call it a day. Dr. Cossack is very well versed in many things in Free Enterprise. Low-level Zerkers is one of his favorites. He is not afraid to just not grind to like power overwhelming. He'll grind to where he needs to get to and kind of go from there. We see Dubward flying around. Where are we going? Looks like we're doing some shopping. I believe probably trying to find Veils and Cure 3s. Looks like we're picking up some other characters though, so I think we're making changes on both teams. Doc gonna do some grinding, and Dubward gonna be picking up some party members. We're saying no to Tella, and then I have to assume we're gonna say no to probably Rydia here and pick up Yang, because Rydia's just never gonna get to 1200 HP. Oh no, we're gonna keep the Rydia. A little surprised by this.
Yeah, we did pick up a couple apples. I don't know if Dubward sold them or not. Apples may push Rydia up a little bit higher. But I think it also has like Sork Robe, Stardust Rod, a bunch of stat boosting gear on that Rydia. And, you know, Rydia's stats for dodging it can be quite nice.
Yeah, and Dubward picks up 10 more Star Veils. Does need those Cure 3s from Fabul and gonna have to figure out where they are. I don't know if he checked the Fabul shop.
I don't think he has.
I would love to have seen Yang instead of Rydia here for Dubward. Just get that HP on him, pop your sirens and go. Kind of rough though, like this Rydia just, I don't think she's going to do it HP wise. She's just going to struggle mightily to get there with only 2 sirens worth. I don't think she's going to clear more than about 750 health. I have a lot of concerns for that as your final party member here instead of Yang.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, did also pick some extra life potions up, so could end up, popping a life on her every once in a while to bring her back up.
You don't really want to be taking those actions though that aren't dealing damage. It kind of messes with the cadence of the 1200 fight. I guess if you wanted to keep Rydia around maybe for Sylph or for Asura, I don't know if we learned Asura on Dubward's side. I know we sold 2 of them.
Yeah, I always sold 2. We do have Sylph, which the problem with that is that I don't think Zeros actually counters summons with Nuke.
No, counters with Virus, which... Well, no, excuse me. It'll counter with Virus before the first Big Bang. It'll counter with Nuke after the first Big Bang. I believe is how the script works, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that, which is entirely possible. But we see the issue here. Rosa is at 994 health. Rydia is at 746. And this was my concern, is that she wasn't even going to clear 750. So... where are we getting the rest of this XP for the HP on this Rydia? Yang would have already cleared it. And we see Dubward is kind of in this pickle now of what do I do? Where do I go? And this is one of those situations where this is a Blue Moon Seed that is playing out like the typical puzzle that a Red Moon Seed would give you. This is not your normal Blue Moon Seed by any stretch. It's something that most folks probably have not been put in a situation on a Blue Moon Seed that they have had to do this. This is in real time, getting to see somebody learn exactly how they want to approach this. On Dr. Cossack's side, you see a more traditional approach here, going double white nuke reflect straps. And he has all the sirens in the world. This is interesting to me on Doc's side because I know he's not a huge fan generally of doing these grinds, but at the same time, when presented with the options of, going through and doing 1200 strats or going through and just grinding, he's taking the safe approach. And that safe approach is I'm going to buy 30 coffins and buy 30 sirens and go ahead and just, make some omelets.
Well, the other thing, at least on Doc's side, is that he hasn't done the dolls and he hasn't done Octomom. So I think trying to get the power overwhelming with the spells before those fights to make them faster instead of just going in there with what you got.
Definitely makes sense. And yeah, we see Dubward going after some of these Sylph trap chests. Worth noting, these are going to punch hard. Rosa, I think, might have a power shirt on. Okay, we're going to get through this one just fine. And this is the big money chest as far as XP. I think this one gives like 33,100 or something. So this is a really good one. This is an egg's worth of XP. It's a huge trap chest to hit.
Yeah, and you can technically do the other 3 major ones, the 3 spirits, but you really need to have your agility really set up to get that Leviathan off
Well,
before they start flaming your party.
worth noting that Assassin Dagger can go on Rydia. You can then swap Assassin Dagger into Stardust Rod, and you can still get that Leviathan summon off. So if Dubward is keen to that little bit of, knowledge there, this is very doable. I'm a little scared for this approach without having Rydia at RA1 though, because the flames are still going to go off. I do like the float being cast, but I would like to see everyone healed back to full, because you have to refloat every single floor.
And let's say if Rydia's now RA1, fine. I would actually like to see Rosa in slot 2, because she's gonna be RA1 with that the Artie bow on, cast mute on those spirits, giving that Rydia plenty of time to get those Leviathan cast out.
That's also fair, yeah. RA1 Rosa getting a mute off, because what's going to happen here is I don't know that Kane is going to be able to buffer this Rydia with the Leviathan. Yeah, so we're going to get all these Fire 2s, and these are going to deal enough damage potentially to wipe out party members. Protect rings will certainly help, but Rydia needs to do her best dodging here. And as Chad is pointing out, Dubward is very much so on a clock here.
Yeah. As we're getting to how many sirens left?
Well, still a number to go, but the fight, the Zeromus fight itself is going to be far, far quicker for Dr. Cossack.
Definitely.
You're looking at probably a 3.5-minute Z fight for Dr. Cossack versus maybe a 13-minute Z fight for Dubward if the 1200 strats are done at battle speed 3 with a Silk Web versus done at, battle speed 6. So we're still only up to 877 on that Rydia. Ooh, gonna need to have some really good gear on her.
Yeah, I think the best we got is Stork Grove, Protect Ring, or Ribbon. And there's a Crystal Ring, that helps.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't hurt the situation any. But while we have Dubward, scrambling for his XP and Doc scrambling some omelets, I do want to make sure that y'all give these runners a follow. They are doing a fantastic job, navigating what is a very awkward Blue Moon Seed. Very fast, very, rapidly, approaching that go mode and then having to figure out what to do. And of course, thank you to the behind the scenes folks. Escrunt doing the restream and rolling this wonderful little seed here. Of course, Commander Leonhardt, the man with the velveteen voice, but doing tracking tonight instead of commentary. And then, of course, Tibalt keeping me honest here up in the booth.
Yeah, everybody's down to 1 HP besides Kane on this ghost fight here. This is going to be quite tricky.
This might be a wipe.
Yeah, all depends on what that Kane has on for gear. 22. As long as he takes low rolls, he'll be able to recover. Here we go.
Two. Oh boy. No more 48s.
4 HP and Kane survives. Wow.
Told me, Tibalt. I'm scared.
I'm on the edge of my seat already with that. Wow.
I would like Rosa to be alive here, though. Yeah, Dubward is going to bring Rosa back, but oh, goodness gracious. That was terrible.
Is that luck or was that calculated?
That was definitely calculated. Everything that runners do in Free Enterprise is calculated.
All right. Well, the lifestyle.
Probably gonna heal up after that, I reckon.
Yeah, but also note, we do also have a white shirt, which Rydia can wear.
True.
Because she's still a young child.
Yeah, we haven't done Dwarf. Seeing that Mom Bomb resetting out.
So I mean, we have great gear to stick on that Rydia to give her the defense for that, those rolls. Doc's still going through these sirens, you know, got about another 11 left.
Yeah, I
Getting
think
close.
that unfortunately for Dubward, I think he's just going to run out of time here. The Dubward needs to go because Doc has 10 sirens left. That's going to take roughly 3 minutes. He has about a 3.5 to 4 minute Z fight, so let's call that 7. He's got the top of the tower and back, which is about another 3. That puts us at 10 minutes, and at best 3 minutes taking out those dolls in the Feymark. That's about the 13 minutes that Dubward needs to complete the Z fight. So I think Dubward has to go after this trap chest, or else the time is just not there. That's my concern on Dubward's side. That white shirt might be enough for me. Put a white shirt, a crystal ring on Rydia, a white shirt on Rosa with a protect ring, and call it good. Rosa's at 1200 now. I think this has to be when you go on Dubward's side.
Yeah, it was healing up. Maybe look at the last 2 here. Hitting the inventory boss, but I'm kind of agree with you. It's like you gotta go. Saving, thinking about it, maybe going here. Did find a siren well down there, so
Okay.
at least I know I did see that, so I'll probably pop that off and get some more experience.
Worth noting, we don't have the Cure 3s on Dubward's side. We also sold the Asura summons, so I'm a little concerned about healing still.
Well, I think that's where Dubward may be thinking of using Sylph for healing. Having Zero's counter the Sylph with the counter nuke.
Well,
healing the big bangs that way.
Well, but you can't do that after 41 or 45,000 HP because it'll tip. It's direct damage. So you're then having to cobble together the last 20,000 damage. That's tough. Like, I feel like you need to find Cure 3s to make this fire. And I think that's what Dubward is going to do, is go for those Cure 3s. And I don't know if he remembers or if he even checked the shop in Fabul when he was there the first time. So that same bit of scrambling that Doc did initially shopping, we may see Dubward do the same thing. Or he may just try to go and make it work.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We know that those Cure 3s are sitting there in Fabul.
Yeah, there's another approach that you can take to this. If you go into the fight, Rosa has, let's say, Artemis Bow, Artemis Veil, Artemis Arrows, I'm thinking of Star Veils here. You have your relative agility 1 set up for Rosa. You can get through the first 2 big bangs, basically on the back of Cure 2s. It's really spooky, but it can be done because of Sylph and Cure 2. But then you wait for the wall to drop, and you cast a Cure 3 with Rosa once the black hole comes out after the second big bang. That's a very difficult approach, a very technical approach. This is going to be, again, very interesting to see Dubward doing this. Maybe a little bit on the fly, cobbled together like he's never done 1200 strats before. He's got a decent number of Star Veils here that he's purchased, but he is very much so on a clock, as Dr. Cossack is now headed up to tower. So,
I wonder if he may be going for, do as much damage as you can with Sid and Kane. Let the black hole fire. Because we only have 14 Star Veils.
Not going down to battle speed 5. If you're going down to 5, you're committing to 1200 here.
Yeah.
But
well, here we go.
Yeah, I guess that means, here's the shtick, right? You can't randomize the Romus. Too big, too bad, too mean to put other places. No one wants to get big banged in Antlion Cave. That's just no fun and not cool, not interactive. So yeah, we're gonna get some 1200 strats from Dubward. and against that big bad Zeromus. But I guess, speaking of butts, Tybalt, we got a question to ask, my friend. We
Yeah,
got Z flags in chat.
yeah, we do. I always get this question. Does he have a hat? Is it cute? What is it? Oh, that's right. That's right. Whose butt are we kicking tonight?
And is it cute? And does it have a hat? And does the hat have a butt? And is the hat's butt cute?
When would a hat have a butt?
I don't know. Why does a volcano have a butt?
Good question.
But here we are. Vulcan Miss exists. I doubt this is going to be Vulcan Miss because that's like a 1 in 600. Also noting on Dr. Cossack's side, I think his stream died. I don't know. We'll have
they're fighting. I think Octomon may have been too powerful for him. The stream couldn't handle it. But here we go. Crystal's being thrown out. This is going to be one stressful of a fight. Even stressful to watch. Which butt do you prefer? Because we've got a lot of butts that Scala has done, and I know Board has done. Do you have a favorite butt?
Well, I think Wrinklemas is the scariest, but also one of my favorites just because. Oh, and Dr. Cossack's stream is back. Looks like we are still fighting that Octoman at top of tower. So we might have a little bit of a delay. That is Pokemiss. That is not cute. It definitely has a butt.
Yeah, not cute. Good old Earthbound, though.
And Doc's stream has decided that it wants to go back to Standby Miss one more time.
You mentioned your 2 versions. Did you give him your old internet issues?
Look, man, PotatoNet is a thing of the past, okay? For me, anyway. But yes, apparently I have decided to donate my internet to my 2v2 partner, Dr. Cossack. I apologize for nothing. Other than, of course, the awkward quality.
So we have a reflected virus from Iridia.
Yeah, so early on, you don't actually want to be reflecting the viruses. You want to just direct cast them.
I don't know if we have enough Starveils up to really warrant direct cast. So what I think Dubward's doing here is something like I mentioned earlier, trying to do as much damage as you can. Because we only picked up 14 Starveils. So we're going to try to do as much damage as we can and save those Starveils for the last 40 to 60,000. The last 20,000 damage or so. Maybe even upwards of 30 damage.
Yeah, the issue with that is Kane and Sid are not going to die to the first Big Bang, which means we're going to tip phase 2.
We still have a black hole that can come out, though.
Right, but when we tip to phase 2, it means that we're basically doing a full fight, and that means we're going to get to rocks at the end, and rocks are going to wipe us. You just can't, like, you can try low-level Zerkers like this, but I don't think that's what Dubward was anticipating doing, was low-level Zerkers. I think he wants to do 1200 strats, but I think this is a situation where the cards just may not have aligned right for him to be able to pull it off, and now he's kind of in scramble mode. Because we're stuck in a situation here now where you're doing somewhere around 5k a round, maybe, not even 5k a round. This is more like 4,500. Rydia is gonna go down after the next Big Bang because we don't have a Cure 3 to heal her up. It has to be nerfed, but everyone dies to counter nukes. This is a really scary setup on Dubward's side. Something that he will definitely learn from, and something that, so many of us have gone through and tried to do these strats like this, and it's just been awful. But this is a situation where, with this strategy, I just don't see a line on how this works for Dubward. But Dr. Cossack's stream, it is not cooperating, as we know. We will be, doing our best to make sure the footage is good after the stream, concludes this evening. So, this is just a thing that happens sometimes. I know that Dr. Cossack is not fond of Comcast, which is his provider, but it happens. So please, everyone, bear with it. We do apologize for the cuts in and out, but it is what it is.
Looks like over there going for a nerf on the second Big Bang here. Does have Cure 2s in his inventory to heal Rudy up somewhat with that wall up, so...
Yeah, we see Dr. Cossack entering the Z fight, or not entering the Z fight, entering Troya to go to the Z fight using that pass. Going to be a very different Z experience for Doc. Going to be reflecting white casts and nuke casts here. Still going to be a little bit of a scary fight on Doc's side, because we are going to be seeing, I think, probably still 2 Big Bangs, but maybe not. We found good equipment on his side, so maybe we get away with 1 Big Bang, but it's going to be pure reflect. Yeah.
Got a couple white shirts, a life staff, Stardust, Charm Rod. Like, we've got the stat boosting gear here, even though white is such a slow spell to cast.
And worth noting as well, another primary potential issue here on Dubward's side is what happens when the black hole hits. The answer, one of the questions is what's going to happen. What's the outcome of this going to be? When the black hole hits, Sid is going to lose his last Artie arrow, and you're going to need to re-equip him before you re-Bacchus or re-Zerk. And there's another potential concern. If you start to Zerk up without that you're just going to have Sid punching. Sid punching is cool, but it's also pretty scary. Also, things that are scary. This crystal is early. That is not going to nerf that Big Bang. That is a cycle too soon. I am very fearful for Dubward. He gets the right hit on the Rydia there with the wall still up, but this is not going to be a nerf Big Bang. That's scary.
I don't know if he's going to be able to get another crystal throw out there. There is the chance where he may end up tipping into the next phase and wiping out that cute Big Bang. We got the fake shake, as we call it.
Yeah, I think we're about to see a full power Big Bang here, and an unfortunate wipe on Dubward's side because that crystal was early. Here comes the Big Bang, and there goes the party, unfortunately, for Dubward. So yeah, it was a really great effort on Dubward's side, but unfortunately was not able to get there. I wonder if that was nerfed properly, if he had a chance at it, if he was in the damage range.
Hard to tell. You always have to go back and look at it, and you're just going to the football. He's going to find his Cure 3s and probably be like, oh, well, this would have been nice beforehand.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is just experience. Again, this is the type of seed, the type of layout, the type of experience that you would expect from a Red Moon style seed, frankly. That this type of resource management, that sort of thing, would typically be found not on Blue Moon. So it's definitely of no fault of Dubward's to find himself in the situation he's in. He is panic flying right now, I think.
Trying to figure out, what do I do? Do I try and search for more key items? Because he's got Zod available, he's got Twin Harp, he's got the Leviathan spot, he's got Dwarf. It's does he try and search for that Darkness Crystal, or what does he do? That's probably what's going through his head right now.
Yeah, I think what may have happened. So Dubward has forfeited. I think what may have happened here is because of the delays on Dr. Cossack's side, Doc may have finished already, but we haven't seen it live on stream yet, where we have seen Dubward's forfeit come in. So we'll wait to see if there is a finish here from Dr. Cossack, and kind of look at the race room and figure everything out from there. So we'll get that addressed in just a second. But I think that's likely the situation here, given Dr. Cossack's internet issues. But we'll wait to see if we can get a finish on stream before confirming any or all of that. It's always fun to do this in pseudo real time.
Yeah, we do it in production, as some developers say, which, yeah, do it in production is always great.
Yeah, worth noting, regardless of outcome on Doc's side, heck of a race, heck of an attempt by Dubward. No shame in taking an FF here. He put forth a valiant effort. He was ahead by multiple minutes getting underground. Played the seed wonderfully, and if nothing else, can walk away with this knowing that he was objectively ahead of an opponent he probably thought was better than him. And outside of having a bit of weird, knowledge and tech and stuff like that not in his tool belt, he was on track to win this race, frankly. Played it really well.
Yeah,
and I think... Okay, yep, there it is. So, yeah, GG's to Dr. Cossack. We see Pokemus crumbling at roughly 2 frames per second, but crumbling nonetheless. So we do have a confirmed finish on Dr. Cossack's side. What we are going to do is make sure we're going to get a local recording from Dr. Cossack and go through and make sure that everything is on the up and up. No reason really to doubt it. We saw it all happening live here, kind of in real time, for the most part. But we are going to get that recording and review. Tentatively, we're going to go ahead and call this a win for Dr. Cossack, barring something strange on the local recording and the VOD. This is also why we always ask our runners to record, what they're doing. So again, GG's to Dr. Cossack, officially coming in at a 120.26, and we'll be moving on to the next round. And let's see if we can get him in for an interview. And I do believe we are joined by Dr. Cossack. GG to you.
Thank you.
A first question. How happy were you when you saw sirens on the moon?
Very. I was looking for ether before that. Were they in Troya, or did Dubward never find them?
I believe they were in...
Ethers were in Agard.
Oh, Agard, okay.
Yeah, Missidia had the Star Veils.
Gotcha. One of them had Ether too, so they were available. Yeah, they were there. I
must have missed them. I was over there.
It happens. I mean, you were looking for a lot. That seed, safe to say, it was pretty jetty. Giving five bosses by the 20-minute mark, I want to say, and then one at the top of tower and one just kind of hanging out, easy peasy in the Fey March. So a lot of decision making you had to go through very quickly, kind of conjure up a plan as to what you wanted to do. If you hadn't found the Darkness Crystal from the Pan turn-ins, what was your plan? Is 1200 in your repertoire, 1200 strats?
I can do it, I'm just not very practiced with it. So there would be a lot of panic.
Fair enough. So yeah, that's kind of what we're wondering, is if either of you really had that in your tool belt, because it is not the most common thing. It does rear its ugly head every so often, but luckily the sirens were there and got you there. As far as your early party is concerned, you kind of committed hard to early Zerkers. Were you ever planning on keeping those Zerkers all the way through, or did you ever have a plan of taking mages early, or was it always going to be Zerker transition to mage?
Yeah, I was going to be Zerker to mage.
Makes a lot of sense. Tybalt, any questions for Doc? That's kind of the main ones that I had.
Yeah, I think the big question we had is that you went and checked Twin Harp super early. You know, was it also in your thought to maybe check the Zot 1 play? Because you had so few bosses that you still had to look for before
No,
we went underground.
I like to do Zod all at once if I can.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Doc, that's I think all the questions we have about tonight's seed, but we do have some more questions for you regarding, kind of your future in the tournament. Pending everything comes out okay on review of the footage, which I
Yeah, I'll
highly
as soon as I
anticipate
finish
you.
here. So
Awesome. Looking forward to your next opponent. You're going to be running up against Elven Sorrow.
yep.
Anything that you're looking, to forward to changing, to do differently, to keep the same? Where are you kind of at with that?
I'll worry about it when it gets here, I guess.
So, going to do the old couch wing it.
Yep. Hopefully not another foo start. I've had 2 this tournament.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, my friend. Well, I think that's all the questions we got for you, Doc. We'll on the admin side, of course, look
All right.
for the video to come up. But floor is yours. If you have any final thoughts or anything like that going forward, any.
Nope. See you next week, maybe.
All right. Well, that was our winner this evening, Dr. Cossack, folks. Again, coming in official time 1:20:26, and going to be up against Elven Sorrow next week. Worth noting that Dubward has declined an interview, which he is absolutely able to do. That is his right as a runner. So we are going to have some more free enterprise, though. This is certainly not the end of it after such a great race. Uh, this was phenomenal to watch. Definitely would recommend that you follow both runners, Dr. Cossack and Dubward. They put on a heck of a show for you. Of course, behind the scenes, S-Grunt doing the restream, Commander Leonhardt pushing the buttons, Tybalt, my co-commentator, all doing a fantastic job. Tybalt, where are we headed today, and what do we have on the docket for tomorrow after this phenomenal race?
Let's see, for tomorrow, let's see, we have, look, we have you versus Rybon.
That's why I didn't want to say anything, because it's awkward to be like, hey, look, I'm racing. Yeah, thank you.
At 8 p.m. Eastern time, back here on Free Enterprise. And later in the night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we have Sorbius versus Moleboy on our sister channel, Free Enterprise 2. And then back again on the main stage for Free Enterprise, we have Mike versus Night Dew at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely some hype races going on there tomorrow. But as it goes for tonight, we may be done here, but that doesn't mean we're done with Free Enterprise at all. We're going to be sending on over to another one of our races currently in progress. It is E-Ninja 81 versus Beauty and Discovery.
Yeah, definitely.
We do have some things. No spoilers on this race.
Yeah. This is worth a watch back, definitely. But yeah, no spoilers. You'll get the bonk. So thank you again, Tybalt, for keeping me honest. And everyone, have a fantastic night, and we'll see you tomorrow.